Let's talk about the great lie of being reliable. You know the type. Maybe you are the type. The person who never misses a deadline, the one whose work never comes back with errors, the name everyone whispers when something absolutely has to get done right. The Rock. But here's the problem with being that person. It may seem like you're building your career, but in reality, you might be digging your own professional grave. Stick with me and I'll show you why. It feels good, doesn't it? The trust, the sense of being essential. It feels like you're building capital, like you're securing your future. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No one in HR will ever tell you. Your reliability is building a prison, and you are both the architect and the inmate. Think about it. You become so good, so dependable at one specific thing that the entire structure starts to lean on you. You're not just a person in a role anymore. You've become a structural component. And you know what happens to critical structural components? They don't get moved. They don't get repurposed. They get bolted down. Let's do a quick, honest test. When a promotion comes up, who actually gets it? Is it the irreplaceable expert, the human cornerstone? Sometimes, but less often than you think. More often, it's the person who is good enough at their current job that replacing them isn't a nightmare, and who shows potential for the next one. The system promotes the movable, not the immovable. Your very reliability makes you immovable. But what if I told you that being too reliable could actually make you invisible in your career? You'll want to hear why that's the case. Because from the system's perspective, promoting you is a terrible calculation. It's a risk management disaster. Option 1, promote the reliable rock. Now you have a crisis. First, the old critical role loses its 100% certainty. That's a huge flashing red risk light. Second, you're now in a new role where you're an unknown. You might be great, but you might not. So you've just created two big uncertainties. Option 2, promote someone else, someone capable but not the legendary cornerstone. Outcome, the critical old role stays perfectly secure with its legendary cornerstone. That's you. The new role gets a perfectly fine manager. You've maintained one perfect certainty and managed one small, acceptable uncertainty. Which option do you think a system designed to minimize risk chooses? It's not even a close call. Your strength has become your strategic weakness. Your value has been weaponized against your own advancement. The problem? The more reliable you are, the more you lock yourself into the very role you're trying to escape. And this is just the start. Let me explain how it gets even worse. And it gets more insidious. Every time you go above and beyond, you're not just doing a good job, you're quietly rewriting your job description. That project you pulled off in half the time, that's now the standard. That weekend you gave up to fix a crisis, that's now part of your implicit commitment. The system doesn't reward you for setting a new high bar. It just expects you to jump that high every single time from now on. You've created a monster of expectations that only you can feed. This isn't about you being unappreciated. It's about you being too perfectly utilized. The system has found your optimal use case, and its entire programming is to keep you in that state permanently. It's like that scene in every heist movie. The safecracker, who's a genius but also a loose cannon, gets the big job. But the reliable, steady driver who never misses a timing cue, he's stuck behind the wheel every single time. He's too valuable to risk in the messy part inside. A Chinese strategist named Han Feizi figured this out 20,300 years ago. He said a ruler should bind people through systems and laws, not through shared morals or personal loyalty. The modern translation, the system doesn't care about your good intentions. It computes your output. Your reliability produces a fantastic, low-risk output. So the system's logical conclusion is to maximize that output by minimizing any change to your conditions. Change is risk. You are now the enemy of change. I saw this happen to a brilliant engineer. Let's call him James. For 2 decades, he was the guru of a legacy manufacturing system. Flawless record. The company's bedrock. When they moved to a fully automated AI-driven process, guess what happened? They didn't retrain James to lead the new era. That was too risky. What if he struggled? What if the old system needed him? They made him a legacy systems consultant. A fancy title, a nice office, completely sidelined. They preserved his reliability like a museum piece because it was too valuable to mess with. His greatest strength fossilized him. So, what's the point? Should you start being unreliable? Of course not. The point is to see the game, to understand that being the rock is a double-edged sword. It brings short-term security and long-term constraint. The system's gratitude is not a promotion, it's a golden handcuff. We're mapping the invisible architecture of power here. We saw how being flexible makes you hard to classify. Now we see how being reliable makes you too valuable to move. Both are traps within the system's classification machine. But what happens when you go from being too flexible and reliable to being too good at one thing? In the next video, we'll reveal the most dangerous trap yet, why expertise can make you the most vulnerable person in the room. And this leads us to the next, even more ironic trap. If reliability locks you in place, what about going all the way to the top? What about becoming the ultimate undisputed expert? You'd think that's the ultimate power move, total security. It's not. It's often a deeper, more vulnerable trap. In our next video, we'll break down expertise creates dependency. We'll explore why knowing more than anyone else can make you less powerful, not more. Why the person everyone depends on can become the easiest person to control. If you're starting to see these patterns, if you're realizing that the obvious good choices have hidden terrible costs, then you won't want to miss that one. It's where the puzzle really starts to come together. Consider this your insider's look at why doing everything right can feel so wrong. Stay tuned.